Here at the Giver Marketing Network, we don't leave you drifting out in space. We connect you to a coach who will help you build and grow your marketing business. Our process acts as a guide on how to connect with other businesses, maintain good relations, and establish a presence on the Giver Marketing Network. Each member within this collaborative group will have the opportunity to leverage your talent and influence, a true network effect. If you are looking to collaborate on more projects, welcome to the Giver Marketing Network, the most trusted and highest rated collective of specialists on the planet. Here we have a group of like-minded professionals who focus on making valuable introductions and helping each other grow by teaming up. Imagine Upwork meets a network and a coach. The talent collectively includes services like visibility and SEO, creating logos, designing websites, managing social media, outreach messaging, visual storytelling, and much more. Think of what you could do with laser-focused allies strengthening your business while offering your talents to the entire network. Click near this video for more information.
Hello, and we are live. Welcome to the madness, Nate Grossman. How are you doing?
I'm fine. Thank you very much, Christine.
I am excited about having you on the Tuesday marketing broadcast with Giver Marketing today. We're going to have so much fun.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Big shout out there to all of the groups that we're broadcasting in. We're broadcasting on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and then Kingdom Warriors. We've got all sorts of fun places we're hanging out. So feel free to make comments, ask questions. That's what the chat is for. And we're going to have a lot of fun. Nate, I know that you are one of our members with the Giver Marketing Network, and I'm excited to have you here. Talk to me a little bit. How did you get involved with the whole marketing thing? I mean, this is a big area of specialty, right? I mean, we're having fun with it.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, it goes back to the dawn of computers, but my interest.
We're just going to date ourselves right off the bat, right?
Yeah, exactly. Desktop publishing, Illustrator 1, I was using that. Built my first website shortly after college for a nonprofit in Reno, Nevada, and made their digital newsletter, e-newsletter at that time. And I thought, well, I kind of like this. There's something going on here, But career paths took me down different routes. I was on an education path, so I spent a lot of time exploring alternative forms of education. Went to Korea and Iraq, and the experience, international experience, led me to international sales and marketing, and it was during that time I picked up an MBA. I really liked the marketing component of that, and I thought, what? When it came time for me to move on from that job, I was like, what? I'm going to explore this, and so I dove, both feet into doing digital marketing, building websites, and hosting them. And I thought, this is extremely saturated market, right? So there's a lot of people out here doing this. And so it's kind of been this evolutionary process where I've been like, there's more to, there's got to be more to this. And so as I kept digging, I, came to the realization that it's really about a strategy, having a strategy. And that's kind of what sets you apart and, helps to really demonstrate ROI and gives kind of like, a reason for why we're doing all this stuff, right? So that's kind of where I'm at now. I take businesses along a journey where we, fix their positioning, reposition them, work on their branding, find out what really makes them tick and attach everything to their goals. And so that, we're really focused on improving customer experience, marketing and sales processes, and the whole shebang, so.
Right, because oftentimes we just want to try things and there's not really a whole strategy and they're just kind of throwing spaghetti at the wall, hoping something sticks, right? I remember reading on your LinkedIn profile where you were talking about goodness, you had a phrase, no more random acts of marketing. Is that
Yeah. I've actually someone contacted me about using that phrase because they've apparently trademarked it, but unbeknownst to me. But yeah, I mean, it's really what it's about. Stop committing random acts of marketing. There's got to be a point to what you're doing, and a lot of that is just like the business owners do what they do. You can't blame them if they don't really understand how this whole marketing thing works, and so
right? They know they're
my goal
supposed to post right on social, so
right,
they do, right? The
right,
strategy.
right.
What are you talking about, right? So
Well, that's what
this is
everybody tells them, right? So,
right. Everybody tells me I'm supposed to do this, so I'm doing it, but they have
yeah,
no idea, right? And thank goodness for organizations like Giver Marketing, where we've got marketers here that have experience, can help with the strategy, not just doers, but actually there's a reason why we're recommending that you do what you do, right? So I love that, Nate. Well,
yeah.
and really today's topic, right? It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to it. What are we talking about, Nate?
Well, it's how to be visible without burning out, basically. How to maintain that visibility without burning
Ugh,
out.
what a great topic, right? When you think about all the things that you're supposed to do, right? We have this list
Yeah,
of things as business owners that we think we're supposed to do, and we're just running ourselves ragged trying to do everything. So I love this idea of being able to be visible, right? Without being exhausted and overwhelmed at the end of the day. So I'm really looking forward to this. Let's have
yeah.
some fun with this, Nate.
Okay. Yeah. So visibility without burnout. That's the whole name of the game. What does that mean? Well, so let's figure out how to advance the slides here. Okay, there we go. So we're going to be talking about how to maintain consistent marketing engagement. Given the plethora of channels that are available and ways that you can be visible, I guess. How we're going to look at different key marketing strategies to focus on. Balance. We're going to talk a lot about balance, visibility, and efficiency. And then we're going to talk about how to create sustainable workflows that you can, uh, keep on top of things. In other words, right? So that's the idea here. So yeah. So all right. Let's see here. I'm kind of new to the whole thing, so figuring out where everything is.
Did you want the next one?
So okay, by the end of the session, the goal here is to maintain marketing visibility without sacrificing resources. All right. So the challenge here is maintaining balance. There's way too many marketing channels, and if you try to focus on all of them, then your team is going to be completely overwhelmed really quickly, right? You have limited time and resources, especially if you're talking about a small business. This is one of the constant refrains, right? The expectation to maintain that visibility constantly is high. It's one thing that social media marketers will tell you. Consistency. You got to be consistent. You got to be there all the time, right? You got to be showing up. I actually know somebody who has made. They pretty much built their business on doing Facebook Lives, for example, and it drives her crazy because she has to do a 1 hour at minimum broadcast each day, and she's like committed to this for years. And if she didn't show up, her friends, her rabid audience would call the cops, wondering where she was. You know what I mean? Like it's to that point. But hey, it's extremely effective, and she does really well. So.
And then you start kicking those algorithms, right? Because now it's expecting it. And then when you start decreasing your engagement, right? Then all of a sudden your visibility drops. It's a trap. It's a circle. You just keep running in.
It's a vicious circle. And so inefficiencies, there's a lot of inefficiencies in the process. If you're not careful, a lot of things could fall through the cracks. And prioritization, what do we focus on? How do we figure out what do we focus on and spend our limited resources on, right? And so one of the key problems here is that a lot of small businesses try to do it all, right? And to try to keep up with who they view as competitors. And of course, that's an instant recipe for disaster and burnout. But what we're trying to do is find, be smarter about our marketing here. If there's, I think I read at some point that there's at least 100, potentially around 100 different social media channels out there available now, right? But really, when it boils down to it, there's a select few that really matter. I guess you could say, I know that everybody's trying to, oh, this is going to be the next new thing, right? Well, okay, maybe. But if you're talking about limited resources and whatnot, maybe that's not such a great idea to experiment with, try to reinvent the wheel there, I guess, to a certain degree. If you really boil it down, there's like 10 primary channels that you really want to focus on.
And even then, 10's a lot, right?
For it is.
Owner, that's rough to figure out and prioritize, right? Where do I want to invest my time?
And you have digital channels, you have traditional non-digital channels, events, for example. If you're going to go to an event in person, I mean, that's a big commitment of resources right there. Is it worth your time? Is it worth your money? How can you figure that out? The most savvy businesses, of course, are using a multi-channel approach. But that doesn't mean necessarily you got to do all the channels, right? So, yeah. All right. So let's see here. The big thing here is focusing on what really matters. So high impact marketing channels. And then a good way to figure that out is by using analytics, right? And there's probably, oh my gosh, there's a lot of different analytics channels out there as well. And so figuring out which one's going to work for you kind of depends on, well, what is the channel you want to use, right? You have like SEMrush and all that. There's, I like to use SparkToro is a good one for figuring out your audience, where your audience lives and what channels they're using. To me, that is like one of the most bang for your buck bits of software that you can use to figure that out, help you figure that out, right? That way you don't have to go do a bunch of experimenting because they've already done the research for you. And then, of course, there's, the tried and trusted GA4, like Google Analytics 4, right? Which, of course, is, I'm being, facetious there because it's given a lot more than one person many different types of headaches. So.
Well, and I think it's a great topic that you're bringing up there, right? The analytics of it. A lot of times, right, we're supposed to post, we're supposed to write, and the business owners have this idea of what they're supposed to do, but how do they know whether or not it's successful, right? So if they don't have anything to look at those analytics, they have no way of really judging what's going on here. And this is really where your marketing experts come in with their areas of expertise, right? If you were to have a conversation with Nate, he could tell you, well, you might want to set up some of these tools here. Let me give you a hand with that, right?
Exactly.
Because you don't know what you don't know, right? And this is where the experts, you can try everything, or you can talk to somebody who's done it before, right? And they can give you recommendations. This is what I've used. It's been very successful, right? When that, just that recommendation alone is worth its weight in gold.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of where I'm at now, helping businesses with this, right? Like you said. So in this case, I would recommend using something, the good old UTM parameters, urchin tracking method. It's a company that Google bought years and years ago, and they've incorporated the ability to create these links, which can then be tracked in Google Analytics, so that you can see, when someone clicks on this link, where they're coming from, the source, the medium, etc., the campaign, and then ultimately where they actually went. All of that shows up in your Google Analytics just using these simple things. And I have a free resource that I'm going to give at the end where you can build your own UTM and then keep track of them, where they are and everything like that in a spreadsheet. So
all right, well, hang on, everybody. Make sure you stick around to the end and get access to that, right? If you're like, analytics, what? Here you go.
Exactly.
Nate's got the answer.
Exactly. So and then from that, you can figure out which of these are actually performing the best, which are sending you the most traffic, which ultimately end up being the highest converting, et cetera, et cetera. But going along with this is you need to set goals here, right? Everybody's heard of SMART goals, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time bound, all of those. And all of that is going to be based, of course, on who you're trying to go after and what kind of resources you're dealing with. What's your budget, what's your goal for your budget, etc. It all goes back to goals, so you might, for example, have a goal to increase your website traffic by 20%. Being specific, have an actual number that you want to focus on. That way, you can figure out, okay, how can I get to that number? You want to boost email open rates by 15%, okay, well, what's it going to take for me to do that? And how do I know that? Well, I've been tracking things in my CRM, seeing, what my current open rate is. And so that I can A/B testing maybe in there to try to figure out, well, this one worked better because I tweaked this, and et cetera. And that can be a whole presentation in of itself, right? So,
absolutely.
Or maybe you want to grow your LinkedIn following by, a few hundred followers or 1,000. Well, what's it going to take for you to do that, right? So once you have that picture, that goal in mind, then it helps you it's Stephen Covey, right? Begin with the end in mind. So unless you know where you want to go, how are you going to get there, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, and so the other part of this is like you can just do small tweaks here and there when it comes to focusing on things that can help drive better results. So for example, let's say that your Facebook page is your top performing channel, and you know this because you've been tracking it, right? And you decide, okay, I see that there's a lot of people coming into my Facebook page. I see that there's, people are converting there. I'm going to up my frequency of posting there. Instagram isn't really cutting it for me, but Facebook is really doing the thing, right? So I'm going to focus more of my efforts here. So you go from 3 times to 5 times a week, for example. So all of a sudden you notice a 25% increase in engagement and 15% boost in followers. So, all you did was increase the post frequency by 2. It doesn't take a whole truckload of stuff that you have to do right here. It's once you start to track this and see the numbers and where they're coming in, it becomes more clear what you can do and what you should really focus on, right? So
those numbers are invaluable, right? And sometimes those small tweaks, right? That's where the professionals come in, where we can really offer some advice that you might not have thought of. It's like running ads and then also running retargeting ads, right? Yes. You can see an extreme difference, little things like that. Well, how do you retarget? Well, if you don't have any systems in place, you don't know how to do that, right? So it's great to have somebody that can step in and give you a hand with it. I love this topic, right? Just the small tweaks can make a huge difference.
Exactly. You get it.
I do.
So, okay, what else can we do here? So I'm a big fan of the phrase work smarter, not harder. Okay. I'm all about that.
Oh, yeah.
I think was it Bill Gates? He said, if I want to find the most efficient way to do something, show me the laziest engineer. Because he knows that they're going to be, trying to find the fastest way to do something, so they have to spend the least amount of effort on it, right? And so that's kind of what we're focusing. That's what this is all about. Using a content calendar. That, by the way, I'm going to include a content calendar in the freebies, so that'll be in there. with some other stuff in there. You know, it's just stuff I picked up along the way, and I'm gonna, you know, it's useful for me, so why not? Um,
Now,
content
when you say
calendar.
content
So
calendar, for those that
yeah,
aren't familiar with the concept, right? Marketers have heard of
yeah,
it before, but non-marketers might be like, a content calendar. What's that about?
yeah.
What is that? What does that mean for the rest of the world, Nate?
Well, yeah, very good question. So content, first of all, is the text, the videos, the images, whatever it is that you're creating that sort of showcase what you do, um, and provide. So social media, and basically the whole internet, right, exists because it is a vehicle for content, right? And it, without content, none of it would make any sense. Like, why would you have the internet? Right? Like, what's the point there? You have to have something on the internet, you know. And so, at its most basic point, like content is just stuff that is on the internet, or it doesn't have to be on the internet, but it can be in person. It tends to be more about being on the internet, just because, again, that is what the internet is about, right? But um, so you're creating all this stuff, you're showcasing what you do, highlighting, you know, making yourself like the expert, so that potential clients can see who you are, what you do, and then, you know, giving them a reason to choose you, right? Having a calendar, you know, is a way for you to, you have a campaign, for example, and you want to, so like thinking about things in terms of months, days, etc. Having a campaign set up for the month of March, for example, for your social media can help you get organized and help you kind of reduce the the skull crushing, you know, worry that comes with, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Having a theme, for example, around the month could be great. And then putting that into an actual calendar, like on this day I'm going to be doing this, on this day I'm going to be doing this, I'm going to have, you know, my big content piece for the month is going to be this, maybe this webinar that I'm going to do, or this blog post, or this ebook, or this white paper, but everything else is going to be kind of related to that. Anyway, a content calendar helps you to be organized around on that, you know, on this day this is what's going out, on this day this is what's going out, on this channel too, right? So days, channels, times, etc. Keeping yourself organized, that's a big, pretty much the big key there for the content calendar.
Right. If you wake up that morning going, I don't know what I'm doing today, right? That puts a lot of pressure on you, right? How are you going to plan out the rest of it, right? Same thing for your content calendar. If you don't plan ahead, but that really goes into the next point that you've got, right?
Exactly. So, you know, at the beginning of the month, you can sit down, say, this is my content planning day for the month. I'm going to, there are tools out there that allow you to, they have a built-in content calendar. You can map it out, say on this day, this is what's going out, and I can schedule it. So that the actual posting to that channel becomes automated, right? Facebook has a posting automator calendar inside of it. It's kind of weird and wonky, as most things that Meta produces are, in my humble opinion. But it is available. There are other things that allow, other tools out there that allow you to post to multiple different channels, right? Mm-hmm. So you can post from one location to YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, et cetera, et cetera.
Right. And what a time saver. And that's, once again, if you're a new business owner or not new entrepreneur and you're not aware of these tools, and you're like, oh my goodness, I've been going to every single one of those and posting. How time consuming is that, right?
Exactly. I mean, just how much time have you lost just logging in? can't remember where your password is, you know, all this kind of stuff.
So true. Right. So when you can automate that and make it all from one place, I've talked to people, they're like, oh, I didn't know that was a thing. I'm like, yes. So it's worth having a conversation with somebody in the marketing space, because we know about these little tools and which ones we've used and which ones have worked. Right. Do you have any favorite automation social media posting tools that you like to use, Nate?
Well, I actually offer one myself, so I like to use that.
Oh, you have a custom one, or
Well, yeah, it allows you to post to all the major channels, actually multiple pages within each. But um, there's also things like Bird Eye is one. There's Hootsuite is another one. Buffer is another one. All of these kind of do the same thing, but it may be at different price points, and some of them have little tweaks here and there that make them a little more appealing than others. One feature that I enjoy from these types of things is the ability to create what's called evergreen posts. And so having that evergreen post is like it's something that you can actually repeat. So it reduces the amount of content that you have to create. You just create this one thing one time, and it's always good. It doesn't matter when. And so you can just put it back in on a cycle and have it cycle through every month or something like that. The beautiful thing about social media, in my opinion, is that it's a memory hole. It's kind of like the best thing and the worst thing about it, right? So you can literally post the same thing on even in the same day, and you're going to have a different crowd of people that are going to see that.
Right. That's that whole algorithm thing. Who sees it? How many people see it?
Yeah.
Not everybody sees every post you can put out. So just keep that in mind if you're not familiar with that. Right.
Yeah.
So these are great organization time savers, right? As we're getting organized. Right. So to avoid burnout, right? Use a content calendar, automate your posts.
Exactly. And automate your email, set up email marketing automation. I don't know about you, but following up with 1,000 people that are in my pipeline, and it's tricky to kind of remember to do that, for one thing. Let's say that all that 1,000 people enter into your pipeline at different times, right? All of a sudden, that's going to get real unwieldy real quick. So having the ability to automate the follow up, that's the thing. If nowadays people expect, it's not it'd be nice to have, it's an expectation that they are going to have their requests followed up on. In this case, let's say that you have some kind of lead magnet out there, that you are using to get people's emails, for example. Then people are clicking on that, they're signing up for it at different times. Well, you don't want to have to be tied. You don't want to have that follow-up tied to whether or not you're actually able to do it at that moment, right? Maybe you're tied up doing other things. Maybe you're asleep. Having the ability to have that automated means that those people are always going to get the thing that they are signing up for right at the time, right then, right? They don't have to rely on you. You take yourself out of it. So that saves you time and energy and focus right there.
That's a great topic, Nate. When you think about the things that we're doing manually versus things that, we could automate. I was just working with a client yesterday. Was saying, what do you mean we can automate that? What?
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
So when you look at the bottlenecks in your business, where are things getting stuck, right? Where do we need to have human interaction? And there's times you want that human interaction. I get that, right? We're not saying let's turn everybody into a bot.
No.
There are a lot of things that you can automate, right? So
there's kind of like, marketing qualified leads versus sales qualified leads versus, and as they get closer and closer to actually being a paying customer, you're going to want to focus more of your energy on being, personalizing that and actually getting in touch with them and manually reaching out to them, right? But in the beginning, if you don't know, where they're at quite, and they don't know where they're at quite, then it's not really worth your time or effort to manually reach out to every one of those people. So the goal here is get as many people as you can into the funnel. That way there's more that end up being a paying customer at the other end, right? It's a numbers game to some degree, right? Mm-hmm. So you're just making it easier for you to keep in touch with them.
Yeah. So if you've got something out there you're working on and you're thinking, how can I automate this, right? Reach out to Nate, have a conversation, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We can do an automation mapping session. That's what I
Ooh, there you go. Doesn't that sound fancy? But things that'll save time in your business, right?
Yeah, exactly. Another beautiful thing about, and I think I mentioned this already, was the evergreen posts. So with social media, you can also repurpose posts and content that you're creating. So the one thing I love about video, for example, is the ability to, you can take a video and create it into and turn it into so many other things, right? Because there's so much information in a video, especially if there's a lot of talking like we're doing right now, right? You can, there's AI is an amazing tool, right? That helps you work smarter, not harder. Speaking of, but there are tools out there called, like, for example, castmagic.io. You can upload a video to Castmagic, and that turns it. It uses AI to generate a transcript, and then from that transcript, it uses AI to create social media posts. For example, you can create your entire month's worth of social media in less than 10 minutes using that. And they have sort of like specific, like pre-made templates. So if I'm gonna post my video to YouTube, for example, I go to Castmagic and I say I want this one for YouTube. It generates all of the YouTube keywords that I need. It generates the timestamps that I need. It generates the title. It gives me a list of 10 different possible titles I could use, and a description that I can just copy paste it in there. And it's all done in, like I said, less than 10 minutes. It's amazing.
See, these are the
I nearly cried
tools.
when I found that, by the way.
The magic tools that we didn't know about. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And so another awesome tool for repurposing is, it's called Opus Clip.
Mm-hmm.
And so Opus Clip allows you, again, to take a video and then it cuts it into shorts. It uses an algorithm to guess what parts of the video are going to be most likely to go viral, right? So based on its knowledge of the different social media platforms and what actually constitutes a viral video and whatnot, it's kind of, they fed this into their algorithm, and it will analyze the video and then come back with a short clip from that video. And you can specify how long you want it, but you can set up templates with all kinds of goodies. Excuse me, but it will spit out these these shorts. You could do, again, an entire month's worth of YouTube shorts in just less than 20 minutes. And you don't do anything. You don't have to do any of the manual editing or anything like that, right? It just does it for you. And it's absolutely magic. And then you can schedule it from within the platform. You can automate the scheduling there. It's really something else. Yeah, so there's all kinds of things like that out there now, though, that can help you. And again, AI is the magic ingredient here. With this, I think.
I know Captions has an AI twin now that I was playing with the other day, where literally you record you and they, take that recording, and then I gave it my website and it took information from my website, and all of a sudden started creating videos of me talking. I was like, ooh.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about that. It's just a little bit eerie and creepy.
It's a little bit eerie, yeah, but it's kind of fun to play with. I haven't used it, but I've played with it, right? Just kind of like dipping my toe in the water, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So talk to the marketers. You want to know about the latest, greatest marketing tools? We love playing with that kind of stuff, right? We'll tell you what we're playing with and what might be fun. Yeah, I love this.
Yeah. And save you time, because we've probably figured out what doesn't work. So
I'd say, we didn't like that one. Yeah. So repurposing, and then you got integrate project management.
Yeah. Project management. Just, again, that's about being organized, right? Putting them on a schedule, automating your scheduling, using a content calendar. Project management is all about that, right? It's all about schedules, putting things, quantifying things, putting them on a calendar is great. there's different project management tools out there. Trello, Asana, Notion is a great project. You can use that one, and there's all kinds of Notion. There's tons of like free project management dashboards that are available that you can just kind of try them out if you want. Again, just about being organized and tracking what's going on, what you're doing, what's working, especially. There are tools that will automate the process that you go through when it comes to project management and whatnot. It depends on the size of the project. If you're just a small business that is kind of just getting started with their content journey, then you probably don't need to do something, too elaborate. But it does get very complicated and complex. But it all kind of depends on your needs. But you can get started for relative little to no money, actually. Especially Notion is free, so you can start using it there. But designating somebody on your team as being in charge of the project is a good idea. That could be its own, an entirely own talk right there, just about project management. But it's an important thing, and it's one of those things where once you start to use it and you see how well it works, then you're kind of like, why didn't I do this before?
Right. And all of these, right, really help you with scaling your business. You mentioned teams often, right? The goal is, if you're a solopreneur, to get to that point where you're no longer solo, right? Where you've got a team that's helping you out and you're not trying to work 80-hour weeks, right? If you can start delegating some of that. And a lot of these things that you've mentioned specifically will help you get in that system of being able to bring in team members, right? If you have a content calendar that you can share with the rest of the team, right? Now they've got something that they can help you out with. So you're not doing it. They can do the automations for you. They can help you with the email automation, right? So when you start getting a team to work on things, you're not doing it all yourself anymore. Opportunities.
Yeah, and you're documenting the processes that you do for this thing. That's one of the beautiful things about project management, is you're actually an integral part of that is documenting what you're doing so that it can be followed again next time, right? You could just copy paste and repeat the whole project, right? And so that's one of the beautiful things. That means that you can then hand it off to somebody else. Say, hey, do this. This is how you do it. Boom, and there you go.
Well, you mentioned your friend broadcasting for an hour every day. Whoa, that's a lot, right? Now, what do you do if you're sick? What do you do if you want to go on vacation? What do you, right? So when you can put some systems in place, so some things you can pass off to someone else on your team to handle, so you don't have to do it. My goodness, that's a life changer right there for your business.
Exactly. Working on your business so you don't have to work in your business. That's
there it is. Exactly.
All right.
So what else you got for us, Nate?
So I guess we're kind of going along the same topic here, is collaboration, right? Mm-hmm. Distributing that workload, how, internally or externally, you can distribute that. If you are, again, looking to scale, if you're looking to grow, eventually you're going to come to the realization that I can't do it all. I have to have somebody else come in, and you have to be able to outsource or delegate. That outsourcing component can mean that you are leveraging freelancers. That might be a thing, or maybe you're just hiring somebody on a contract basis, a project basis. You need somebody to come in and actually be a project manager, for example. Then there are people out there that will just do that. You can hire them as the project manager for that project. They can actually get everything done, set it up, and then you'll have a documented way of doing things that you can choose to rehire the person, or you can hire another person and say, hey, do it this way. This is how we do it. And you're going to want to, think about what you're good at versus what you're not good at, and be honest about it. So, if you're not good at doing the project management, because it takes a certain amount of, it's a certain type of person who's good at project management. Not everybody's good at project management, because there's a lot of little details you got to be able to manage. I attempted to take the project management professional course, PMP, and my goodness, is that a head spinner. A friend of mine, is a PMP, and I started trying to talk to him about it, and he just started rattling. I was like, "Oh no, I'm lost." So,
There's a certain skill set, right? Some people are more in the creator line. Some people are more in the project management side, right? We all have our different areas of specialty. So if you can stay in your zone of genius, your life's easier, and you're making everybody else's life easier.
Exactly. And there's different levels there as well, but if you are not the bookkeeper, you're not good with numbers, hire somebody to do that for you, for goodness sakes.
Right. So when it comes to your marketing, right, if that's not your area and you need to bring somebody in, that's the beauty of Giver Marketing, right? We've got 100 marketers that all have different areas of specialty. So, you're not sure what you want to do, right? Make an appointment with one of us and we'll get you in touch with the right marketers.
And that is the last point there. Join a community. So, join a supportive community like Giver Marketing, for example. There are tons of options out there available. Finding your particular group is always kind of like the eternal quest, right? Finding your tribe. But once you find them, they can be a crucial, integral part of your process, and I highly encourage that. And especially like with Giver Marketing, you could find people that do the thing that you don't do well, right? So that's a key. All right, let's see here. This is a brainstorm thing. I probably won't do that right now. Okay. So this is just a recap. Basically, prioritize. Look at what is the most high impact. Do that. more of that, please. And streamline and automate. Can't encourage that enough. Can't stress how wonderful AI is as a tool for that. Again, AI is a tool, just like a hammer. Try to build a house without a hammer. See how easy that is. And so it's there to make your life easier. But it is not the end all be all. It as of right now, it still needs us humans. So, be conscious and be aware of that, and then double check everything that it puts out. But if you use correctly, it can really substantially reduce the amount of time that you're spending, creating your content, making that consistent presence out there, and it's a wonderful thing. Collaboration, collaborate with people in your tribe, outsource, find those freelancers that can help make things a little bit easier, take the burden off of you. Maybe you're not good at doing graphic design and social media posting. Well, why not hire somebody that can do that? And you don't have to hire somebody as a actual employee. That's kind of one of the great things about the gig economy. It allows for the ability to use 1099 workers, so that you don't have to pay for their vacation, and their time off and all that kind of stuff. You can hire them as needed and send them on their way, or rehire them, etc. Whatever suits you. I encourage you to try at least one of these things today, and I guarantee you're going to see some results, one way or another. You're going to find out.
One of these would be a good choice. Yeah.
Yeah. You're going to find out. I should definitely be doing something different here, or what, this is really working well. I'm going to do some more of that. if that's going to be, if you do, let me know. So either way.
Absolutely. Well, so if they want to reach out and have a conversation with you, Nate, do we have
Yeah.
something on that?
So this is, you can scan this QR code, by the way, and you can sign up. I have some free marketing courses. If you're interested, you can learn how to use CRM. You can, learn about automation, how to implement automation, how to do SEO, build a brand, etc. All of these are free. All I need is your email.
All right. So they get their phone out, they scan this code, and where's this going to take us?
That's going to take you to the landing page to sign up for the free courses. And you're going to receive some automated follow-up emails that are going to have contact information from me in case you want to get back in touch with me. But you will, if you use this QR code specifically, then you'll also receive the freebies that I mentioned as well. So, but only if you use this QR code. So
okay. There it is. So use that QR code, get your phones out, scan that, open it up, get your freebies. Because if anything that he was talking about resonates with you today, right? Maybe you want to get your hands on some of those suggestions he's got.
Absolutely.
I love it.
Happy to talk to you.
Yeah. Now, and I was thinking, Nate, you're on LinkedIn also. We're going to drop your link in the chat. So we're going to say reach out to Nate on LinkedIn. Does that work?
Yeah, that's great. Fantastic.
All right. We're going to put that link in here. There it is. Reach out. Say hello. Friend up. You've got questions you want answered. I'm sure he'd be happy to talk to you about any of the topics and more that we talked about today, right?
If there's nothing else that you find out about me, you know that I enjoy to talk, right?
I think we've got Jennifer Elliott in the background. Let's see if Jennifer wants to hop in. Hey, Jen.
Hello. How are you?
Hi.
We're doing great. Yay. So I'm going to leave that QR code up for just another moment while we talk a little bit. So I know, Jen, visibility is one of your favorite topics too, and efficiency. So I'm sure you were back there in the back end watching this going, yes, Nate, go.
Yes, it's all about systems, marketing, and visibility.
Absolutely. Let's see, anything that we haven't talked about yet, Nate, that you went, oh, I meant to say, or Jen, any questions you might have for him?
I can't think of anything right now, but
there were a couple of tools that you mentioned as far as like tracking your analytics, and if you could go through those again, because I missed a couple.
Yeah.
Like I heard you, but I didn't.
You're like, wow, what? Hold on. I can't write fast enough.
Well, it's probably the one that is, sort of like neutral ground, easiest access to everybody because it's free is Google Analytics.
Yeah.
GA4, otherwise known as GA4, if you're familiar. It is Google's method for tracking things related to your website. Mm-hmm. And again, it's free, so that's the key there. But they bought a company ages and ages ago it was called the Urchin, and they had this thing called Urchin Tracking Mechanism, mm-hmm. and which the acronym is UTM. And so now, if you've heard of these UTM parameters, maybe if you go to Google,
URLs. I looked it up because I remember seeing that on something before. Yeah.
Yes. So Google has their own UTM builder if you want to use it. Here, I can give you the link here. But if you sign up for those free courses, you'll also get a link to one that I built, I didn't build it actually. I got it from somewhere else. I can't remember now where. You start accumulating these things and you forget where they come from. But I've always found it useful. It allows you, the spreadsheet that I am giving allows you to build a UTM parameter in the spreadsheet, and that way you can track where everything is. Mm. And so I have hundreds of links that I've created over the last few years that I completely forgot about that link over there, right? But if someone clicks on that link that you've built using the UTM parameters, it will show up inside of Google Analytics. There's, if you don't track it in Google Analytics, then you are going to get, this traffic is, what's the word? I can't remember now what it is, but basically like it doesn't know where it came from. So if you ever look at Google Analytics and you see there's always like, you try to minimize it as much as possible, but there's going to be a section on there that says, unknown traffic. Like it doesn't know.
We don't know where it came from. It's just like magic.
Yeah. So you're trying to reduce that as much as possible. One way to do that is by using these UTM parameters. And that's going to show up in the tracking for like these. You can kind of drill down and see the source, the medium, the campaign that it's coming from, and then like the ultimate landing page or wherever they ended up going on. And another good one to use, going along kind of like the same lines, is pretty links. I use pretty links. There's several different similar types of things that you can use, but pretty links on your WordPress website allows you to create a link that is pretty, right? So you can build your UTM parameter in a link. And a UTM parameter in a link is a very ugly, long thing. Like you click it and it's like, oh my gosh, what is this? It's unwieldy. You don't want to share that. So you can use pretty links, take it into pretty links on the back end of your website, prettify it, make it whatever you want it to be. Mm-hmm. So it's like www.mybusiness.com/ whatever word you want, right? And you can specify that. And so, but when people click on it, then it expands into that big UTM parameter. But you can, sometimes so you can do that, and you could track how many times people click on that on the back end of pretty links as well. Mm-hmm. So there's like two different places that you can track the same link, in other words. Mm-hmm. So tracking that kind of stuff and knowing how people are getting to you is key, right? Mm-hmm. So that's kind of the point behind that.
That's the whole analytics side of it, right? Yeah. If you can't track it, do you know what's going on? How can you judge whether or not you're successful?
That's just barely scratching the surface. So.
Yeah. So if you want to have a total nerd geek out conversation with us, right? And Nate's got his contact information. We've got it in the chat. Hook up with him on LinkedIn, right? And have those kind of questions, because if you're not tracking it, how do you know how you're really doing?
Right, exactly.
Yes, definitely.
Yes, because hope that answers your question.
Yeah, it does. There were some other ones. I did scan your QR code, so I'll look at that first. I know about Google Analytics. It's like a headache, like you said.
Yeah, but exactly. Especially the new one, right?
It is good to have the information, because otherwise you're just basing how things are going by how you feel about how it went, and that it's usually the whole picture of what's going on.
They're making it harder because of all the privacy regulations as well, right? Like Apple, like 0-click from AI, results on search and all this kind of stuff. It's making it harder and harder for us to track things, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. So far as I know, the UTM parameters, I don't know that it actually affects that one. Maybe someone can correct me. But if someone clicks on that link, it gets tracked. So you might not be able. It's like the privacy, things like from Apple or whatever, right? That controls like IP addresses and that kind of stuff. That's not getting tracked. That sort of anonymizes that traffic. But I think if they click on that link, and let's say the link was, it was in the Giver network, I'm going to know that it came from the Giver network at the very least. I'm not going to know who did it, obviously, but I'll know that traffic is coming from there. So anyway, it gets tricky, especially like, again, with Apple privacy, email opens. Can you trust any of that anymore?
Let me pull that QR code back up. So if you missed it, go ahead and scan that so you can get those goodies from Nate. He's got all sorts of wonderful tools he's going to share with you. Don't miss that opportunity. Scan that real quick. Get that. And Nate, are you going to be hanging out at the Wednesday? We've got our networking for marketers. Are you going to come hang out with us tomorrow?
Possibly. What time is that?
I'm so glad
Remind
you asked. You like that, huh? Okay, so on Wednesdays, 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 Eastern, that's 10 o'clock my time here in Texas. So we have, it's Giver Marketing's Give Back. This is where we like to hang out with all our marketers. So if you're a marketer, if you're a media professional, if you're PR, anywhere in that space, we love having you come hang out with our free event. That's every Wednesday, and that's Networking for Marketers. So if you go to givermarketing.com/networking, you can register once and come hang out with us. So don't be a lonelypreneur, right? Come hang out, get to know other marketers, get to work as a part of a team. Like we were talking about teams. And if anybody has any questions, if we're lucky, Nate will pop in tomorrow. Maybe he'll be able to answer a question for you too. So
11 a.m. I can do.
See, there you go. All right, you heard it. So pop in, say hi, ask questions. We're going to have a lot of fun. And every Tuesday, join us for our Giver Marketing broadcast. And we'll be sharing something fun next week too. So come back and see us again. Thank you so much, Nate, for speaking today. We appreciate it. And Jen, thanks for offering your insights too. See y'all again soon.
Bye-bye.